myself there on the YouTube. Yeah, share your screen with your audience. Click this button to share your screen. No, now we live on the YouTube. Blue 18. Blue 18. You got to make your voice louder and more raspier if you're going to call the cadence. I can't do it in here. I'm in an apartment. I got soundproofing up, but I don't want to yell. Sit up. Here we go. Now I am live on the YouTube. Okay, and I see the number. Okay, YouTube live. Hi, YouTube live and Twitter. But let me finish my conversation here, and see what you guys are on. 1, 2, 3. Now, I'm not saying it's a sinking ship yet with the Giants, but something needs to change. Well, Kafka's got to go. He'll gladly go. He's had interest for the last couple years to go. You know where Wink Martindale is? Like, bro, wait till I talk about it tonight on air. Because Shane Bowen is who you guys need to get rid of. There's some unforgivable stuff on film from that Giants defense. Justin Pennick posted, "Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the worst second down defensive performance ever. The Giants, on 10 different instances, had the Commanders on 2nd and 10 or longer. They averaged 15 plays, 15 yards for play on those plays. They couldn't stop them. They couldn't stop them. I don't know if I can pull that up. I don't know if there's a way for me to put that in here. But go look that up on Pennick's page, bro. And if you watch these plays, like, this is a defense that clearly is just figuring it out right now, and it's going to take a lot of figuring out. But I'm with you. It's week one. We're Monday night quarterbacking and overreacting. You know what's crazy? The Yankees and the Giants have relatively the same problems, just not the same results. I'm gonna need you to elaborate on that, Scott. I don't know if I'm picking up what you're putting down. The Jets look good. Let's talk about the Jets. Actually, let's talk about the Giants with the rest of the chat, and then we will go to the Jets. Let's say 3 more minutes. When I get to 25 minutes, we'll switch to the Jets. Dre says the Giants haven't scored an offensive TD in the first half on an opener under Dable. You got to go, bro. This your last opener if I'm calling the shots. I don't know if I want Dart behind whatever that line was. Exactly. That's how you ruin him. That's how you lose him for a few weeks. He's already, like, Malik Neighbors told a story about how frustrated he's been trying to pick up the offense. Dable is known to have a complex offense, and I'm sure there's a lot of terms and jargon and vernacular that you got to be, playing quarterback is tough. You got to speak the offense like a language and not like a second language. You got to speak it like it is something that you were born into. And for a rookie quarterback, like Malik Neighbors told him, he's like, you're not going to get it right away. I was screaming for weeks, at least, please, at least let Dart have 2 games of game film to watch. At least let Dart go on the road to 2 division rivals buildings that he's going to be going to for years in DC and Dallas. They're not going to start him. We at least know that Russ will be starting next week. I will, man. Like I said, this is just a test drive. I'm probably gonna end up going to Streamlabs or Restream, or maybe I go old school and go back to OBS. I just realized, bro, like, I was building a good community with these lives, and I started doing the WFAN lives, which is great because I work at WFAN and doing my show. It should be on WFAN YouTube channel, but I've built my own community, and during the day, no one hears from me. I'm just doing dad stuff, doing housework, doing, little things for my own business and my own pursuits. And I'm like, man, all of this stuff that I consume, I need to go live for an hour. I need to tap in with people, especially on the first Monday after week one. Later in the stream, we'll talk about the Yankees. I'm not giving y'all any more than I see you. So far, good enough for me. I need 8 wins out of the 12 that everybody's calling a gauntlet. I'm not calling it a gauntlet. This is the final exam. So far, you get a passing grade. 8 wins out of 12. You're halfway there. You took 2 from the Astros. Should have been 3. It's okay. Umpires are trash. It's standard. You took 2 from the Blue Jays. I'm good with the Yankees. The Mets. What did I say about the Mets? Let the kids play. It can't be worse. Man, call up these kids. Brandon Sproat should have already been here. How many more starts do you need from Kodai Senga? He gets option. How many times you need to see Sean Mania to know that he's got the loose bodies in his elbow? He's not the same. Call these kids up, man. What's disappointing about the Mets is that the offense failed them. What's disappointing about the Mets is you drop 2 out of 3 to the Reds, and I think they end up owning the tiebreaker on the Mets. Where if it gets crazy, we'll talk about that at the end of the stream. I may be wrong on that, but I think so because I think when they played earlier, let's double check. This is where I should have a producer. This is where I should have somebody that's like, actually, Keith, the Mets just played this series. They only took one game. Earlier, the Reds came to Citi Field. Yeah, I'm correct. Earlier, the Mets lost 2 to the Reds in July in their place. And then they also lost 2 to the Reds in Great American Ballpark. So advantage Reds as far as the tiebreaker. If we get to a place where if the Mets go on some type of rough patch here in the last 19 games, we'll see. I'm not wishing that. Can't let it happen. Make it happen, Mets. But it's just an interesting note after coming off the weekend. Let me hit the YouTube chat. Okay, hold on. Let me put the ball here. Yankee girl says, "I love your Yankee World Championship in the back." You know what? I would love it too if we could add another row. If we didn't stop at 2009. Boone wife says, "What's up, Keith? Sup? Hope they win Tigers tomorrow." Yeah. I'm glad we're off tonight. I'll see y'all at the stadium Wednesday. Um, but it's a big football conversation going on today, and it should be because we're back on. Brock Purdy is the real deal. I would say take a closer look at that game. Um, he did what he had to do, but they scored 13 points with no Debo this year, no Brandon Ayuk. I do like what I've seen out of Ricky Pearsall. But like, remember now, Brock Purdy is a high-paid quarterback. 13 points is not going to cut it, or 17 points is not going to cut it. He did miss some throws. Um, not for nothing. Like, let's look at that right now. He went 26 of 35 with 277 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, um, 1 sack, a 80.4 QBR, a 92.2 rating. So clean up the interceptions, and really he only had 9 incompletions. I don't want to rag on him, but what I'm saying is you are now expected to be the dude. You can't be out there looking like Jimmy Garoppolo. Um, Yesterday was not the fault of the quarterback. The line play sucked. Correct. Daniel Jones was crazy yesterday. We'll see. We'll see. Keith, and I'm in Miami. The Dolphins will fire Mike McDaniel. This is why the Colts beat up on the Dolphins. I would fire the defensive coordinator, but also, yeah, like what's up with them and Tyreek Hill? Tua is another big money quarterback that can't be turning the ball over like that. What do you have? 2 picks and a fumble? I personally think Russ isn't going to be terrible. Game 1 was ass, but the O-line didn't do his job. Russ is not going to be terrible. He's been in the league for over 10 years. Like, he has seen everything, but like like, this is what I'm getting at, bro. I don't care if it's Drew Lock. I don't care if it's Tim Boyle. I don't care if it's Daniel Jones. I don't care if it's Tommy DeVito. You know what I'm saying? No one can operate in the NFL under that much duress. Go watch the Baldy clip. Brian Baldinger has clips on clips of the Giants' offensive line just getting blown up. The Deadskins front just pushing them around. And like Brian Dable and Mike Kafka got to come up with some other schemes and some other plans when you get thrown off schedule. When they're blowing up the front of your line, you gotta call some plays to get away from that. So we'll see. He's gonna be QB3. That's what I was just saying. That's what I was just saying. Like, why can't they? Didn't they do that last year where Drew Lock, they put a microphone in front of Drew Lock, and Drew Lock was like, "Yeah, I don't know. I was expecting to get this opportunity, but it's coach's decision." They're about to do the same thing. They better, because that Giants schedule, which, let's play this game and we'll get to the Jets. I know I lied. We'll get to the Jets. I'm gonna pull up this Giants schedule for you, and I've done this on the radio. I'm pulling up the Giants schedule, and I've done this on the radio, but we're gonna do this exercise again. And I hope somebody that is with the Giants is on the same page as me, right? Let me screenshot their schedule. We're coming up on week 2, and I'm gonna tell you when Jackson Dart should play. At the earliest, I'm gonna tell you when Jackson Dart should play. Um, okay, screenshotted, and hopefully with the free version of StreamYard that I'm now downgraded to, I can bring this into the fold. Maybe I can't. Let's see. Present image file, desktop, and here we are. All right, folks. The Giants are heading to Dallas to face a rested Dallas Cowboys team, a very motivated CD Lamb, a locked in Dak Prescott, a defense that will play their first game at home. They will pin their ears back after what they saw on film. They will try to prove that they don't need Micah Parsons. They will try to destroy the Giants. Now, if the Giants only kick field goals, you're going up against Brandon Aubrey, who is one of the better kickers in the league in his building. He's going to be able to match you with field goals. You can't score field goals in Dallas. Dallas is going to have some big plays. They're going to score touchdowns. I'm going to assume that's a loss. Then you open up MetLife for the first time in blue. I'll be there. I'll be doing a Telemore Do tailgate at American Dream and then going to the game after. So I'll see you there. The Chiefs will be there for Sunday Night Football, and the Chiefs, I mean, they're the Chiefs. I don't know. I would be playing Russell Wilson against the Chiefs at that point. The Chargers now, speaking of the Chargers went to Brazil and beat the Chiefs. Harbaugh's second year of his program out there is really going to start to take hold, and I just think they're not going to lose to the Giants. Now, coming across the country, you could play that game, them flying from LA to Newark, yada, yada, yada. Their line versus the Giants line, I don't go look it up. I don't see that happening. Now here's the Giants' potential first win. Going down there to New Orleans, where Jameis Winston used to play, right? Go down there and beat the Saints. However, you got to beat them. If you got to beat them with field goals, beat them. Now, here is where it gets shaky. Because I wouldn't start Jackson Dart. Do not fall into the trip of starting Jackson Dart on the road in the Superdome, because it can get crazy down there where, I don't know, a couple plays don't go your way and their crowd is into it. They got a good culture. I wouldn't play him there because that looks like the softest landing spot in week 5. The Giants, right in this middle part, right in this middle part, they have to face the Eagles on the 9th. 10 days later, they got to go out to Mile High in the altitude to face the Broncos. And then they got to face the Eagles again in Philly. Are you throwing Jackson Dart into the fire against Jalen Carter and the Eagles defense? I'm not. At least not at the first one, because that first one, that look at October 9th, that's Thursday night football. So you're going to throw that young man into the fire at home against the Eagles on a short week? No, no, no. The soonest I think that you can start, and you don't want to start him in Philly on the road. So I think the soonest that you can see Jackson Dart is after 2 months of being an NFL player, going through regular season, game day, film, travel, practice, preparation, November 2nd against the 49ers, and it comes right back to Brock Purdy, who we were just talking about. I wouldn't put him out there until November. So all you Jackson Dart truthers, start Dart. Come on, got it. Not yet, bro. Not yet. November. I'll be gone to November. I'll be gone till November. I would not start that young man until November. Keith needs a Discord. I used to be on it back in the day. My man Joe's McFly has a pretty good Discord. I remember I used to be in the Pinstripe Strong one, but like, I don't know. I could look into it. I'll put a note. But I do want to get to the Jets. Let me just make sure I'm not skipping over anybody in the chat. Okay, on the YouTube chat, Samuel Lamb says, "Love listening to you, Keith. Appreciate you, Sam." Sam also threw a super chat, 4.99, making it rain. Love listening to you, Keith. Keep doing what you're doing. LGM. LGM is correct, because the Mets have to go tonight. The Mets are down in Philly, Philly. That's their favorite team to play. Perfect timing. But the Phillies are on one, so It's going to be an interesting 4 games. We'll talk about that later in this stream and tonight on the fan. Back to the Twitter chat. Let's see. Dak isn't Daniels, but receiver corpse. Dak isn't Daniels. Dak isn't Daniels because he's not going to run. He's just going to put the ball in tight windows. Wait for it. Kafka wasn't. Oh, yeah, you're right. I keep pointing up because I think of offensive coordinators being up in the skybox. Kafka was on the field. Here's a secret. Maybe he can see the field better from up in the box. I had that in my notes yesterday. Man, if I was a Cowboys fan watching Micah yesterday, I'd be pissed off at Jerry. Did y'all see Trayvon Diggs' tweet? Trayvon Diggs said this can't be real. Of course it's real. Of course it's real. Why ain't anyone speaking on how Washington improved their D line? They got Javon Kinlaw. Yeah, I'll speak on it. But it isn't just like it isn't the story here for New York will not be that Washington improved their defensive line. The story here in New York will be that the Giants did not improve their offensive line. They ran it back with the same dudes, expecting different results. That's crazy for a team that won 3 games. What's your YouTube channel link, Keith, so I can subscribe? My YouTube is McPherson brand. I had a Keith McPherson channel, and it exists, but I don't operate it anymore. So look up McPherson brand on YouTube, and you will understand years from now when I'm doing family content with my wife, my son, my sister, cousins, family members with the last name McPherson. I'm the one that's got to kick the door open. And once I kick the door open, whole gang can come in. So it's McPherson Brand LLC, McPhersonBrand.com, McPherson Brand YouTube. Started by me, Keith McPherson. Eagles' second game, nah. You don't want his first start to be in Philly. Those fans are terrible. Giants staring at 3-8, maybe. Just looking at what I just had. Don't bother with Discord. I feel like I don't. What do I gain from the Discord thing? I'd rather have the chat community. I'd rather have the YouTube chat community that we have. I don't know. Dable getting desperate and starting Dart. No, he can't. I hope that people advise him not to do that. I hope that if that becomes even a thought, that someone tells him, "Nah, we're not doing that, bro." Okay. And now, JETS, just end the season. Nah, I'm just kidding. Honestly, the Jets should have won. It's just the same. Oh, Jets, but it's not, right? Justin Fields. Let's see if I can pull some stuff from the boy Justin Fields. He impressed me yesterday. We got to start with the quarterback because when they signed him, I was told he can't throw the ball, Keith. It's not going to work. Myself being someone who has thrown thousands of passes, myself being a running quarterback growing up, a dual threat quarterback that people just want to assume you black quarterbacks, all y'all do is run. You can't throw the ball. You can't read defenses. I say there's a big difference, bro. And I also talked about Tanner Engstrom. That guy can call some plays, man. He's getting an opportunity. Giants fans or Jets fans, you are blessed. The Giants can't figure out who should call the plays between Dable and Kafka. It doesn't matter. The Jets have the right play caller. This guy dialed up some great plays. And you know what else? Justin Fields got them into the right play a lot himself. Audibling, checking at the line. So let's pull up some Justin Fields stuff. Why don't we? Justin Fields broke a Jets record that hasn't been touched since 1991. No punts in the first half. The search for a QB is over. He's here. Hell yeah, freaking right. You didn't need Aaron Rodgers. You should have beat Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is still old. He did his thing yesterday. I give him credit. He came back, led him to victory. He did not do that for the Jets. But you have a young, fleet of foot quarterback who has grown as far as reading defenses and delivering the ball, getting the team into the right play. Justin Fields goes 16 to 22 for 218 yards, 1 touchdown. He had a 119.1 quarterback rating in his first game at home. In the first chance you get to really see him play for the Jets, it's not on him that they lost that game. He didn't turn the ball over. I wish he didn't throw it to Garrett Wilson at the end and would have just used his athleticism to run and pick up the 3 yards. But he was probably thinking about the clock. Bears fans are saying proud of Justin Fields today. 266 yards. They added his rushing yards. I did not add that when I went through his stat line. Add another 48 yards on 12 carries and 2 touchdowns. Browns fans are proud of the kid that they drafted. They're still unsure about this guy that they drafted number 1 overall. 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 0 fumbles, 32 points. And Justin Fields said it himself. He said, we put up 32 points against future Hall of Famers over there. Guys like TJ Watt, who Olu Fashanu had pinned up, had him in jail, had him locked up. Jalen Ramsey, Highsmith, I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer, but he played his ass off. That Steelers defense is something that they hang their hat on. Mike Tomlin hangs his hat on. Like, they're a good defense. And the Jets went out there and put 32 points on them. Should have been 34. You know what I'm saying? They should have just went for the extra point. It's just the same old Jets, typical Jets. Typical Jets. Xavier Gibson with a fumble at the worst possible time. The worst possible time. I'm online. I'm tweeting. I'm like, the Jets are in position. If they score again here, I think they went up and it was 26 something, 26-17. I'm like, the Jets are in position here. If they score, they can run out the clock, right? Brees Hall was cooking. I'm like, they've got Brees Hall and Justin Fields to run the ball, kill the clock, and end this game. Brees Hall running to the left side behind Fashanu. 19 carries, 107 yards, a 5.6 average. His long was 18, and I think that was the first carry of the game, right? There's just something with the Jets, man. It's tough for Aaron Glenn to overcome. It might take a little while, but there are some guys on the defense. Stevens, the corner they picked up from Baltimore, people are looking at him sideways. Sauce did his thing. And their tight ends got involved. People talking about they can't throw the ball or they're only going to run the ball. They're completely wrong. When you look at this team, let's go to the team stats. This will tell you the tail of the tape as well. Let me go a little smaller here. Team stats. I'll screenshot this and put it on the screen. Hopefully this works. They did what they were supposed to do. They won the time of possession game by almost 10 minutes. That is by design. That is what they want to do when they talk about running the football. Here we go. Small, but team stats, right? When you look at the team stats, they tell you the tail of the tape. The Jets had more first downs, right? The Jets had way more rushing first downs. The Jets were more efficient on third down. Total plays, they ran 62 to the Steelers 54. Total yards, they had almost 400 yards in this head coach, offensive coordinator, and quarterback's first day on the job against the Steelers. They almost passed for as much yards as the Steelers, 212. Rushing, like, they had more than triple the amount of yards that the Steelers rushed for. They had 182. In the red zone, they were 3 for 4. Now, the penalties will kill you. 7 penalties for 74 yards. That's been the Jets' MO for too long. They got to clean that up, and they know they got to clean that up. And last but not least, the time of possession, like I said. Oh, and the turnovers. That the Steelers didn't turn the ball over. That one turnover turned into a touchdown. It was a costly swing. And then again, almost 10 minutes more with the time of possession for the Jets. So if I'm a Jets fan today, I know it sucks to lose. If I'm a Jets fan today, I'm mad because that was the most exciting game that Jets fans have watched in their building in a long time, as far as, like, definitely one of the most exciting openers. Definitely just exciting being able to score that many points. The unknown being more than you expected. I've been selling Jets fans for weeks on, hey, go in with no expectations, excuse me. Go in with low expectations. Go in not expecting anything, and all you can do is be surprised. All you can do is be happy with what you get. They're not going to underwhelm. What they did as far as underwhelming was turn the ball over, not be able to stop Chris Boswell from kicking a 60-yarder. He's incredible. And not being able to convert that third down or that fourth down to get the 3 yards. It was a matter of Justin Fields tucking it and running and saying, I'm going to put my head down and get this 3 yards. And it probably would have been close. They would have had to measure it. Or him finding Garrett Wilson where he found him. Garrett Wilson had the ball. As soon as he went to turn around and make a football move, boom, he got blown up by Jalen Ramsey. And that was that. Let's see what you guys are talking about. The Jets will surprise someone this year. Maybe a spoiler in the late weeks of the season. Yeah, because by the end of the season, later in the season, they should have their identity. They should be clicking on all gears. And AG said, you're not playing if you're going to cost us. You're not going to be out there if you're going to cost this team. AFC East, just a bad division. It's all Bills there. You're right. Based off of week one, they all lost except the Bills. The Bills almost lost. But you're right. I'm looking for a new team. Bills are top 5, top 3 right now. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Giants will fire Kafka by week 5. It's not a prediction. It's a spoiler. Nah, they won't. What I'll say is they should have fired Shane Bowen last year. There should have been a sacrificial lamb. Somebody should have been let go. Heads have to roll. Someone has to pay for this. It should have been him. 444 in the chat over here on Twitter. Someone has to pay for this. It should have been Shane Bowen. Kafka has been with them, and Kafka is I think he's an assistant head coach. Like Kafka, they paid more money to, and I'm telling you, he had interest from multiple teams. I think the Seahawks were interested in him. I think somebody else wanted to interview him. If they fire Mike Kafka, he'll be picked up in a second. He'll be picked up in a second. Rob Saleh got picked up, right? He's back with the 49ers. Jets should have won that game. Yeah, that fumble. All right, last 10 minutes here. Just general NFL stuff, man. We got Monday Night Football tonight. Looking forward to that game. I'm taking Minnesota. I just think they're better coached. It's Ben Johnson's first game. It is another Caleb Williams outing. I don't know. I don't trust their new offense against the Vikings defense. Simple and plain. I think it's a low scoring game. The over under set at 43.5. I'm taking under. I just think it's a low scoring game out there in Chicago, and I don't think that their offense is going to be ready to confuse that defense. So taking them. But the NFL script writers are undefeated. I've been saying that for a long time, but they really did it. From Jalen Carter spitting on Dak Prescott to Lamar Jackson pushing a fan back into his seat in the stands. It's riveting. You just don't know what is going to happen. There were some great games. The Buccaneers beating the Falcons. Emeka Ibuka, this kid out of Penn State, he's already real. 2 touchdowns. He's ready to be Baker Mayfield's number 1 weapon for a while. The Browns kicker misses a point after and a field goal, literally lost them the game. If he kicks one of those through the uprights, the game either goes to overtime or they win it. You can actually put fault on that guy. Bengals, who were one of my survivor picks, the Bengals survived 17-16. The Dolphins are trash. Daniel Jones, I'm just so happy for Daniel Jones. I am very happy for Daniel Jones because all you hear about is how hard he works. All you hear about how good of a guy he is. And he's made a ton of money off the Giants, and he's going to continue making money in this league. And he got an opportunity to battle in camp against another high draft pick in Anthony Richardson. He beat him out. And then, not only do you beat this guy out, you go and you make history in your first outing. You put up 33 points. You go get a field goal. You go get touchdowns. You run 2 touchdowns in. You throw another one. Go Danny Dollars, go Vanilla Vic, go Danny DJ Indiana Jones, whatever they want to call him. Good for him. Now, battle of 2 coaches, 2 new coaches, right? Mike Vrabel getting the reins in New England, and then Pete Carroll taking the reins for the Raiders. The Raiders edged them out. Cardinal Saints game was mid. How about Shad Khan? I'm gonna play his audio later. He was geeked up off that win over the Panthers. He said something like, "What you saw out there was for tonight and forever." And I'm like, "Oh, he's bugging out. He must have had too much to drink." The Broncos barely survived. That was my other survivor pick. Bo Nix in year two. That defense, they survived. Cam Ward is a good quarterback. He's going to grow a lot, and they need to put some people around him. I already talked about the Niners' victory with Brock Purdy going in there and barely getting it done. How about the Packers, though? How about the Packers, though? Micah Parsons and that defense all over Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery. The Lions are going to take a step back without their offensive and defensive coordinators. You could just book it. Um, their window is closing. I just don't think they're going to be that real. I don't. And the Packers, I know it was real big for the Packers to beat them, real big for the Packers to open up their season in Lambeau like that. The Texans should have beat the Rams. They were going in to score, cough the ball up. The more you think about it, the more you look at Sean McVay and the Rams as a good team and a good franchise in the sport. And now they've got Devontae Adams. They're not going anywhere. They're rookies from last year on defense. Frisk, Jared Verse. Those guys are only going to get better. They're a year older. And then last but not least, the finale, Sunday Night Football, 41-40 victory, the Bills over the Ravens. I fell asleep on the game. When it was 40-25, that's when I was like, oh, they're not coming back. I started to doze off, cut the TV off. I woke up this morning. I'm like, wait, 22 points in the fourth? Josh Allen had almost 400 passing yards. He had 270 in the fourth. Goodness gracious. That's hell for the Ravens and Raven fans. Your season ended with Mark Andrews not catching that ball in that place. Your season begins with Derrick Henry, Derrick Henry. He had a stiff arm where he pushed the guy, bounced him off the turf, creased him. That was a play I see. My wife is trying to go to sleep. I'm like, yo, you got to watch this play. He gets the ball, gets a couple blocks, hits a crease. The one guy that could potentially stop him, he just bounced him off the turf. It was amazing. It was amazing to see. But Lamar Jackson, DeAndre Hopkins with the one hand, yeah, give me that. Still got it. Still losing though. Still losing though. All right, last but not least here in the last few minutes, baseball. Where's my baseball bat? I don't know. I don't know where my baseball bat is. I can't switch it up for you. Um, the Yankees. Well, let's talk about the New York Yankees. Um, Yankees and Mets gotta keep gotta finish strong here. What I'll say is this: both teams are going to the postseason, right? Let me do this, right? If the postseason ended today, which it doesn't, I always said on air, I hate when people are like, if the postseason ended today, it's like if. It's such a stupid if. Like decisions are made because the postseason does not end today, right? Like guys have come off the IL and been on the IL, and guys are being called up because the postseason doesn't start today. But there is a graphic that came out, and I'm about to cue it up for you. Let me remove this and let's add this as we finish talking a little baseball here. Image, postseason picture. If the postseason started today, which it never will because it's September 8th, we would see the Mets versus the Dodgers in a 3-game set in LA. We would see the Yankees versus the Red Sox in a 3-game set in the Bronx. I take that on both sides. I take that on both sides. I like us against the Red Sox, just not at Fenway. And I think that the Mets play up when they go to Chavez Ravine and play against the Dodgers. They did last year in the DS. They did this year in the regular season. Um, I don't think anybody would be mad at that. And the thing is, like, they do these if the postseason started today, pictures, because not too much is going to change in the next 19 games. Not too much is going to change in the next 3 weeks of the season, unless someone has a drastic fail. Now, what I will say here is that is more on the table for the Mets than the Yankees and has nothing to do with my fandom. It has nothing to do with who I root for. Um, what I would say is just look at the schedules. And I know we don't know who is who and what is what, but the Mets schedule has them facing the Phillies for 4. That's the first place team in their division. They're going to the postseason. Then they have to face the Texas Rangers, who I don't think are going to the postseason, but they're on the fringe, right? They do still have some guys, and what they're looking to do is play spoiler no matter what. Um, like when you look at the wild card right now, the Rangers are a game and a half out, and then when you look at just the regular season standings, they are a game and a half behind the Seattle Mariners and 4 games behind the Houston Astros, where I don't know what those guys are thinking. Those guys might be thinking that they still have a chance. They're going to play up against the Mets at Citi Field. Then you've got the Nationals, who already beat the Mets recently in Nats Park. Then you got the Cubs, who are a postseason team. And then you got the Marlins, who just beat them. So, like, there is not an easy path for the Mets here at all. They can't afford to drop games. And what I mean is, like, they can't afford to drop the series like they did against the Reds. Like, you can't split here against the Phillies. You got to take 3 out of 4. You can't lose this series. You can't lose. You have to win these series the rest of the way to ensure that you don't drop out of this thing. Let me see if anybody in the chat is talking about the Yanks or the Mets. Um, my guy Myron appreciating the first ever, sports are sportsing right now. This is just like what am I going to talk about? This is kind of helped me with like what's important to hit on my WFAN show tonight. What are we talking about? What are we thinking about in the NFL? And now, closing with the baseball. Yankees 4-2 in the gauntlet so far. Next 2 series they need to win. Baltimore worries me, which is a great segue from talking about how the Mets have to. The Mets are in the postseason right now. They have to play these games like it's do or die. Like these series are do or they have to win the rest of these series. Like you can't be dropping games. But now the Yankees have a tricky schedule where it seems soft, and I put the air quotes around soft because it seems soft. The Detroit Tigers come in. The Tigers just lost to the White Sox, who I know the Yankees lost a game to too, right? The Tigers are a little better than or the White Sox are a little better than they were last year. But yeah, I know I saw the White Sox beat the Tigers 6-4 yesterday. The White Sox beat the Tigers 7-5 on Friday. The White Sox just took the series from the Tigers in their building. The Tigers just lost back-to-back series in their building to the Mets, to the White Sox. So here come the Tigers. You can't have a letdown. 2 out of 3. Sweep them. Sweep them so I know it's real. Then you go to Fenway. Don't get swept in Fenway. You got to win that series too. 2 out of 3 there. They don't have Roman Anthony. You got to kind of have you got to avenge the losses. The White Sox have owned, or the Red Sox have owned you. Then you get 3 in Minnesota at the Twins, but like who wants to go out to Minnesota in the middle of September? Don't fall asleep there. And then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games against the Orioles. And if anybody is paying attention, the Orioles are doing damage. The Orioles, they're not going quietly into the end of the season. They took the series from the Dodgers, and everybody saw what happened with Yamamoto and the no-no he had going, and how, Jackson Holliday hit that homer to win that game. They also got busy against the Padres. The Orioles swept the Padres. They're a postseason team. The San Francisco Giants got to them. But a couple weeks back, they took 2 games from the Red Sox, where the Red Sox were like, they couldn't believe the Orioles came into their building and took back-to-back games. So what I'm saying, without saying it, is the Yankee schedule is soft. It's not that soft. It is not that soft of a schedule. It is not a soft schedule at all. It is actually frightening. It is actually pretty scary. Now, we thought that would potentially be Nolan McLean versus Brandon Sproat, or Nolan McLean versus DeGrom, excuse me. Jonah Tong, I like his demeanor. I like his stuff. pause. I like the way that he's pissed off. He's showing it. He's fired up. He's showing it for a young guy. I like his demeanor. I like the way he's approached his first two starts here with the Mets. Or first three starts, maybe first two starts. He had the start against the Reds, and he had the start against the Fish. And I don't think he started one in between there. Maybe I missed that. No, I'm correct. But yeah, that's all I got, man. I have to go pick my son up from daycare. And thank you guys for watching this little day stream where I just kind of go through some things that I'm thinking about, things that I'm going to talk about. And tune in later tonight on WFAN, the fan in New York, 1019 FM, 660 AM, streaming on the free Odyssey app, but also subscribe to the WFAN YouTube channel. I think we just hit 80,000 subscribers. There will be a live stream of me on there. So yeah, thanks for coming through for this test drive. Click like or retweet, or I don't know what's on YouTube. Click like on YouTube. Thanks for the super chat on YouTube and all that. Appreciate you all. I'll be back real soon, maybe even tomorrow. Like I said, I got these late shows all week, and I can't go the whole day without checking in. So you got it. Appreciate you guys. Be on the fan tonight after Monday Night Football. See you then.